was the dawn of the third age of Matthew Kind, 2 years after the Sequest YouTube streams. The Babylon Project was a dream given form. Its goal, to prevent more Monday night boredom by creating a place where visitors and subscribers could wipe out their dullness coolly. It's a port of call, home away from home for YouTube envoys, grifters, enthusiasts, and wanderers. Visitors and subscribers wrapped in 2,500,000 tons of spinning madness, all alone in the night. It could be a dangerous place, but it's our last best hope for entertainment. This is the story of the last of the Matthew's Babylon streams. The year is 2024. The name of the place is Life with Matthew.
All right, hello and welcome. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope you're having a good night as I fumble about for a minute. Yes.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Matthew's fumbling.
I am.
This is new, isn't it?
Is it though? And no. Josh is saying no sound.
No?
Josh is saying no sound. I don't know if I believe him, you know?
Well, let me check.
I mean, I'd like to think I could trust people. But I can't, because you know, Josh, one of these weeks, I'm not going to fall for it. It's not going to be today, but it will be one of these weeks. How's everyone doing? You know, okay, so I was telling the guys on Discord this today, but Mondays are like such a weird day for me.
Matthew,
And I
don't think there's audio.
No, there's audio. I hear you. You hear me.
Yes, sir.
And I just checked the stream.
Oh, okay.
And yep, we're good.
So there is. Okay.
Yeah, but I was telling these guys in Discord today that like a week ago, my computer just practically died on me. Like I installed some piece of software that I do for what I do professionally. I'm a programmer, but not like C, C#, Java, whatever people use these days. I do industrial controllers. So I go out to like frac pads and distribution buildings and water and wastewater treatment episodes. Wow, I got something in my brain. Treatment plants. I program this specialized equipment. And so there's a file I've never seen before because, of course, everyone uses their own proprietary programming software. Like, even though we all use the same language to program them, the actual environment for programming this specific industrial computer, you have to use this software. Nothing else will work. And so I've never seen it before. I install it, and instead of putting it on a virtual machine like I should have done, I was feeling lazy, so I put it on my computer and it dies. Like, I mean, it's taking me 2 minutes just to get into Windows. As soon as I get into Windows, everything is chugging, nothing's working. I mean, I finally was able to get to the point where I could uninstall it, and then everything just ran fine. No idea why it did it, because there's no process running for it. Just it being on my computer was killing my entire computer. And I'm hearing that I'm sounding like Tron. I don't know if I believe that. And I'm hearing that I'm sounding like... Nope, I don't believe it. And then today, I open up... You know, we do garbage and recycles on Mondays. And so I open up my can, and I find that someone has dropped in my recycle can broken glass. And there's like this cable pulley thing that they used for, you know, getting oil filters off, and there's like a drain pan with oil in it in my recycle bin. And then apparently they had also thrown garbage in my garbage can, and when that got too full, they just threw it in my recyclables. I'm like, what the heck is this? And I found out in the end it was my neighbor. I guess I pissed him off or something, but he came across my street to my side of the street, and he dumped his garbage in my recycle can, which I could have gotten fined for. So I don't know what his deal was. I hope it was just he was pissed off about something, but man, Mondays are weird, and they don't stop getting weird. And I just heard a door opening, which is probably meaning that one of my children are up to no good in the neighborhood. Let's see here. I gotta guess about which one it is. Yeah, in my neighborhood.
You mean they're walking around outside?
Oh, man, those days are coming too soon. Yeah, I don't know what he got up for, but I see him. It's so weird. So we
Spying on your children.
I do, but it's with their not just consent, but with their request. Like my oldest, he has asthma like his dad, which is me, for the record. And like,
I would
so
hope so.
apparently he got sick once. I'd gotten rid of the camera because we use them for cheap baby monitors. And so I got rid of it, and he's like, "Dad, please put it back. Like, I had an asthma attack. I couldn't, like, no one heard me. So just have it on so you can hear me at nighttime, but don't ever look at it beyond that." I'm like, "Okay, yeah. You're getting older. I can respect this kind of duality that you desire between being able to sleep well, knowing someone's watching over you, and having that privacy of, don't look over my shoulder all day long." I get that. Thomas is saying that I only use cheap stuff for kids. Or for my kids. Yeah.
For your kids, yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's it's these little
You're
unified
admitting to
cameras.
it, are you?
Well, I like to think that it's not that I'm being cheap, it's that I'm being incredibly savvy with my money.
Frugal,
yeah. I'm being economical. But no, they're like these.
Now that makes sense, especially in this economy.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But I mean, so you get like a baby monitor, and what does it do? It's broadcasting on like the 433 megahertz band. So you can hear it on a walkie-talkie sometimes if you get to the right frequency. Or if you just have your own receiver, you can hear your neighbors, what they're up to. No security at all. And if you get one of those video monitors, they move it up to like the 900 megahertz band, but it's still open. And if you don't want an open one, you have to pay like $200-300. Or I can just use a webcam that has a talkback feature for $20 to $30. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
That's
Makes
definitely
sense
frugal.
to me. Yeah, frugal.
It does to me as well.
I saw someone, who was it? It was probably Josh. Yeah, Josh Street. He was saying, it won't be the first time I meet the professor, but I have met you before in real life.
You have. When was that? About 3 years ago?
It was. It was.
I think it was March of 2021. So just about 3 years ago.
It was real fun.
It was.
I used to drive out to West Texas all the time. And then the company I was doing programming work for, they bought out another company that had an in-house programming department. And things went crazy with them. Like, they bought 2 different companies, both of which had programming departments. Everyone was fighting with everyone else. I got stuck in the crossfire and got the blame for a bunch of crazy stuff. And eventually they're like, "Okay, well, you know what? We're not going to use you anymore. We're going to bring on this other company." And I'm like, "Oh, thank goodness." Because I could see what was going on in this plant. And like, this is a project where it is never going to be done. No one is ever going to be satisfied with the work you've done. And it's going to be nothing but constant people yelling at you for like the next year. So I was very happy to let someone else come and take over that. But as a result, I don't get to head out west anymore. So I don't have a good excuse to come see you.
Oh, we'll have to meet up at some point in the future. Again.
It's true. And also, Wesley Crusher, that's his old screen name. Now he goes by The Traveler.
The Traveler.
The Traveler, he's going to come down my way for the solar eclipse.
He's going to travel.
He is. He really is going to be The Traveler. But he's coming down. So I live in an area that's close to where the total eclipse is coming through. But it's like right on the edge. And so hopefully we can meet up for like a lunch, because he's never had like really good barbecue. And I know some great barbecue places in Texas. So we're going to meet up, have some barbecue. And then for the actual solar eclipse, he and his buddy are going to do something. But I'm going to head down closer to Waxahachie and hopefully be able to catch the solar eclipse down in that area. Because that's like
very cool,
real close to the center line. And that's
I'd have to
true.
drive about 3 hours to see the total eclipse from here.
Oh yeah. And
I mean, from here we would see about 96% coverage of the sun rather, by the moon. But if I travel about 3 hours towards you, then I'd get into that total eclipse.
which is still good. I mean,
That's
90.
good. That's not bad.
Yeah, but so I was watching a couple different videos on the eclipse, and they were all saying stuff like, "This is like if you can drive just a couple hours down the road, it's worth it." Like being able to see a true solar eclipse is such a incredible lifetime experience.
I've seen 2 annular eclipses, including the one back in October that went through Texas.
Now, what's the definition of an annular eclipse? Is it just partial?
So, yeah, well, what it is the moon completely goes in front of the sun, but it's a little bit further away from the Earth. So there's a little ring around the moon that you can see the sun
Oh, okay.
because the moon looks a little bit smaller in the sky.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah, and that's quite spectacular too. The temperature drops, and you get about 99% coverage of the sun.
huh.
It gets real dark.
I think it's just a partial one happened last year. But for that one, we didn't have the solar glasses stuff in time. So I made sure to
Yeah.
get a pair of those solar glasses. And I was really surprised. Like, I thought the whole point of them was you wear them, you can look at the sun as long as you need to and see everything. On the box form, yeah. Now I didn't get
Yeah,
the fancy kind.
I got these for the annular last October.
Okay. Now, did yours say max 3 minutes on the box? Do you
No.
recall?
No, it didn't.
Okay, I wonder if I got some that are a little bit too cheap. It's not too late to fix this. But
Just make sure there are no scratches or anything. Look over the glasses real closely. Make sure there are no scratches. You don't want the direct sunlight hitting your eyeball.
yeah. No, so I did get they're disposable ones.
Yeah, I've got one over sitting on top of my router that I got from the library last year because you could see the eclipse from here, but I traveled
Mhm.
about an hour and a half south to get an extra minute and a half,
Okay.
so the eclipse lasted longer.
Now, if FSX is saying you don't need glasses for the total eclipse, you won't see anything with the glasses. So that's true once
Well,
there is a total eclipse.
yeah, it has to go total before you can look at it without some sort of protective gear.
And so,
While it's just partially covered, you can't look at it without something like this.
yeah. And there's actually an app. If you do a YouTube search for this guy, his name is Matt Destin, and he does a YouTube channel called Smarter Every Day. And he's just this incredibly intelligent Southern Alabama boy who just says his whole point in life is he just wants to get a little bit smarter every single day. And so he'll do just these crazy fun things like learn about solar eclipses, go on a nuclear submarine and learn how they do their different things. Or he did one where he and his friend were shooting a 22 rifle to light a matchstick. And so he does that in slow motion camera where he's finding little 22 bullets and figured out how to make the fine adjustments to light a matchstick. But he did one on the solar eclipse where he was talking to some professional, and they actually had this app where it gets your GPS location and it narrates you through the different stages, and it actually prompts you saying, hey, you know what, at this moment you want to be looking down. Like, it's counterintuitive, but if you look down right now, there's these shadows that appear right before the totality.
Yes, you can see that in the annular eclipse too.
Oh, neat. Yeah, so you'd miss it because you're like, oh wow, here it comes. But it's like, no, guys, look down, and you'll put out this white bed sheet or something, and you'll see these crazy shadows. So we're looking forward to it.
And I have that day off. It's a Monday, in fact. So maybe I
Oh,
could
cool.
head on east and see the total. I've never seen a total eclipse of the sun.
Oh, it is on a Monday.
It is a Monday. Yep.
Now, it's the middle of the day, so it should be fine, but
Yeah, it's like at 1:30-ish.
gotta be a couple hours away myself.
So
It should be fine. We should still be able to do our Monday night stream.
okay.
We'll figure it out, guys. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we
Well,
got a month yet before that happens.
Yeah. But speaking of that, let's go ahead and get this going. And I guess there's a couple things I need to do. Mainly, I need to put in the link to SciTube. And we'll go ahead and pin that.
That'd be very helpful.
Yeah. I eventually get around to this stuff, everyone. I don't know why I'm so scattered brain. Oh, yeah, it's the ADHD. Definitely has something to do with it. So the way this works is, if you want to, you can come join us in our screening room, and you can watch live with us right now my copy of Babylon 5. This is only available during the stream. Once the stream is over, I immediately get rid of it, because the point is not for you to use this as a streaming service. If you want to do a streaming service, go check out Amazon. You can buy them if you feel so inclined, or Tubi. Tubi TV lets you watch them. They're both the remastered version, but with Tubi you can do it for free. You just have to watch advertisements, or have like an ad blocker installed, which is technically defeating the spirit of what you're supposed to be doing, supporting them for letting you watch this for free. But I realize it is something that exists out there for people. Exactly, Tubi or not Tubi. If you
TV.
can't do either one of those, like, what's that?
TV.
Tubi TV. That's
Tubi
oh,
TV.
That's
Yeah.
right. If you're on like your cell phone, or you just don't feel like having a lot of tabs open and you can't watch the stream with us right now, we include some clips which will be right down below. And I really gotta fix the mirror on this because I can't point. This is like an awkward angle for me to point, but they're down there. They will be soon.
They're over here.
And there should be no sound. As always, please let me know if there is sound. And yeah, once every 5 seconds, I show you a still image just so you have some sort of reference for what's going on. And hopefully we do a decent enough job of saying, hey, this is what's currently happening. And then we'll talk a little bit about, something that catches our eye, something that's really interesting or standing out to us. And so, we're not going to stand up here and do some sort of word for word repeat, but we keep up with it pretty well, I like to think.
So what was your guess for this episode?
Yeah. So I actually had to look that up, because I'm like, what was the exact thing I said? So this is the episode Born to Purple. Born to the Purple.
Born to the Purple.
And my off-the-cuff guess was that it was going to be a Londo-centric episode. And while they've been going serious so far, I initially said they're going to go off, not off the rails, but they're going to go off the script from serious into something more humorous, kind of a comedy-centric episode. And then right after I said that, I thought more about it, and I said, nah, that really doesn't fit in with what we've seen so far. And I said, maybe it has something more to do with purple in the sense of nobility. So this is someone who is either, I still think it's going to be Londo-centric, but instead of it just being comedy, it's going to be more about either someone who is born into nobility and having to deal with the requirements of that come with being a noble, or it's going to be someone who is born in servitude to nobility. And so it's going to be looking more at like kind of some feudalism classes, where this person is subservient to another class, and how that interacts here on Babylon 5. So that was kind of my guesses, and we're going to figure out if I'm right or just how wrong I am.
I can't wait.
Let me get the clips up here. And we'll do a quick 3 count for everyone, so that if you are at home and you're watching this some point later, because I know there are a few people who enjoy this stream, some point in the future, hopefully you can sync up with us and be able to watch this. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, hit the play button, and everything should be syncing up. And this kind of looks like the bar that Data went to learn how to make jokes. Of course, he didn't have someone dancing up there. Hey, Gorilla's Random Thoughts, how you doing? Jakar keeps sneaking glances at the dancer.
Ah, good catch.
And so Sinclair is here trying to get Londo to come join them in the UN chambers, as it were. But he's just not coming. He says, "Oh, this is what I've been waiting for. Sit down, sit down." And so we see someone who, at first blush, I would have thought from the bald head, would have been someone from Delenn's race. But she doesn't have the bone ridges.
No.
So is this one of Londo's races?
One of his races?
One of the people
or
from
one of his race?
One of the people from his race?
Yeah. Yes, this is a Centauri woman.
So someone shows up to Jakar's diplomatic staff and he goes, "Yes, I wasn't expecting you for several years, days." And so it seems he's a little embarrassed to be caught enjoying himself in front of someone else from his race who, throws someone across the room for making a pickup line. So, she seems like a basket full of fun.
Jakar seems most displeased that she showed up.
And Londo says, sometimes I feel almost sorry for Jakar.
You're getting pretty good with that accent.
Oh, yeah, it's a pseudo Russian accent that he's doing so far.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Oh, dear, dancing with the Dabo girl. That's sure to end out well. Fortunately, he has those nice privacy windows.
I think they come standard in those quarters.
Did I almost say Picard? I don't think so, but I wouldn't put it past me.
I didn't hear you say Picard.
Oh, once you said it, I heard it. I was saying Jakar.
Oh.
Which does sound a lot like Picard, especially the way I say things.
Yeah, they do sound a little bit alike.
So I did look up the guest stars for this week, and one of them allegedly was on Star Trek.
Actually, there are two characters in today's episode that were in Star Trek.
One of them, as soon as I saw the name, I knew who it was, but I forgot who it is now. It's someone in TNG, I think.
Yes, Clive Reville. He plays Trackus in this episode. He was in Cupid, TNG's episode
Sir
Cupid.
Guy of Gisborne, yes.
That's the one. He was also the voice of the Emperor in The Empire Strikes Back, the original version.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. I only looked for the Star Trek entries. I ignored everything else. Because it's just fascinating to me how the people of this time just jump from show to show.
They did. Star Trek, Babylon 5, Sliders, Sequest, they were just all over the place.
And it's not like these are all the same company either. Like you'd think, okay, maybe this guy's really, the Paramount guy.
Right.
Texas is saying, remember, just pronounce Jakar's name like you're French. Jakar. Mr. Kodo. So Londo's not showing up. Oh, I thought he was playing like a Game Boy type game. Oh, he is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's some sort of video game.
But he's not showing up, and they want him censured for not showing up to this peace talk, because since this is a more serialized series, what happened last week is really important. And last week we're dealing with the Raiders, or not Raiders, but the they were there too. Technically it was 2 weeks ago what we were dealing with. The attack
the Raiders,
on Rikus 3.
Rockish.
Gorillas, I'm not ignoring the chat. I'm just really bad at this.
Grill said that who knew a bald lady would ever be sexy?
I have no comment for that. And technically she has the ponytail. She's not completely bald.
That's true.
And Londo, he's clearly distracted.
You think?
And she claims that this is the least she could do for the Republic ambassador. But I suspect there's more than just hero worship going on right now with her. She claims she wants no more than she's getting, but I bet she's here specifically to cause distractions. Omnicast is saying...
Omnicast.
Yeah, Lieutenant
Ilea.
Oh, I'm glad you pronounced that for me. I'm like, Lieutenant... yes. It was pretty good. The blonde lady, yeah. She was a weird character for me. Like, it's hard for me to disassociate.
Did you say blonde or bald?
Neither. Oh, there it is!
There it is, yes.
Okay, so I react that way because this gif is like all over the place. What do you want, you moon-faced assassin of joy? Now I get the reference. You say, okay, he's gonna come, just have some hot jalo waiting for me.
Must be Centauri coffee or something. Maybe tea.
But no, I was saying it's hard for me to separate a person's personality from their looks. And so if someone's like really weird, I can't see them as beautiful. All I can see them as is like a weird person. And Lieutenant Ilea's character. Ilea was just too weird for me. Like, she was definitely someone I saw as a Gene Roddenberry special. Like, whenever Gene Roddenberry was able to get into things and have too much creative influence over things, he always got these weird characters.
Now the Narn are playing the game.
But hey, at least the attendant is doing a good job keeping things peaceful. John, is it any wonder that Code of Honor is Matthew's favorite episode? That's been stated repeatedly, has it not?
Well, you did claim that. Something along those lines, anyway.
But Londo is claiming that he was delayed by important matters of state. And here we see her talking to some stranger named Dracus.
Now, Josh Street thinks that the B plot here involving Garibaldi is a better storyline. Now, this is Trachis.
He looks a lot different from Sir Gaius Gisborne.
He does.
But here we find out that she is enslaved to him, and he says a slave must never lie to his master. And sure enough, he is a noble house of the great Centauri people. And they're trying to collect some dirt on him, which is something that we saw in the pilot episode.
Well, he wants the dirt that Londo has on the other houses.
But just, I mean, the concept of the Centauri where family reputation is everything.
Yes.
And so he wants the information because the Narn will pay well for that information. And so now he's trying to give her some sort of thingamabob. A sinister
Thomas
thingamabob.
says that his hair is longer.
Yes, that's what it is.
Guy Gisborne.
And he thinks that by getting this information, he'll have the mighty Centauri Empire at his throat. So he must think that he has a lot of info to steal. And Josh was saying that he thinks the B plot with Garibaldi is better than the main plot, which we haven't talked about yet, but there's some sort of abnormal communique that went out to Earth, and he's trying to track down what's going on there. But Ivana?
Using the gold channels, Ivanova
is saying, well, you know, these things happen. It's probably nothing to worry about. And Londo, that romantic, trying to give her a rock?
It's a brooch.
A brooch. A brooch that originally belonged to a matriarch of his family, a woman of intelligence and strength. And of course, she's quite honestly feeling guilty for him, so I was a little hasty, kinda. I mean, she is out to cause trouble, but she does seem to genuinely care for him and have affection for him. I thought she was going to be the originator of the trouble. And yeah, Tex, it does kind of seem like they've known each other for a while. And apparently he doesn't mind being seen with her in public. That's a pretty big deal. Because he reserved a slot at the most, impressive restaurant on Babylon 5. And Londo's making an interesting speech here. You would think that he would especially care. He, of all people, being a nobility, would care about being seen with this dancer girl. And he's making this speech about, to Centauri, appearances are everything. We live our lives by it. And he wraps it up just now saying, but to hell with appearances.
He really cares for her.
Lousy Dodgers. Oh, poor Dodgers. They never get a break.
They still have baseball in the 23rd century.
Cisco would be so glad to know.
Yes, he would.
So Ghirardelli, he thought he was going to get this person. He had them in the palm of his hand, but then security countermeasures were employed.
Yes, Texas, he still has duck dodgers.
His second favorite thing.
And the whole universe.
Okay. She's talking about Londo. Saying
Yes.
how his thoughts were intensely erotic. And Sinclair is momentarily surprised, but looks over and he sees the cause for such thoughts. Tom is saying when you see his wives, you can understand. Are we talking about Londo's wives? Spoilers?
Londo's wives, yes.
Little spoiler there. And Ivanova is helping Ghirardelli out a little bit.
Garibaldi? Is that what you said?
That's a chocolate.
Garibaldi.
That's a chocolate. Garibaldi.
Yes.
Or at least she claims to. He uses the program and doesn't find anything, and she's like, well, are you sure this isn't just a figment of your demented imagination? Jerry Baldy. Is that... It's Garibaldi. Poor Londo. He's like a lamb going to the slaughter right now, and he doesn't even know it.
No, he doesn't.
The music knows it, though. I don't know if you ever played XCOM, Terror from the Deep.
Yes.
This music is exactly what I would expect.
You're right. I never thought about that.
There's some good things about this ADHD brain. I do make some. And he downs it. It's all gone.
Oh, Ifley, don't tease.
Londo's scene with Jakar. And just like that, Londo he's out. Now, I missed what her master called this device. Did he give a name to it, or just say use this on him?
It was something like a mind probe.
It looks like a mind probe. I mean, it's not Riker's mind probe, but I
No.
still got the function. Ah. Here it is, the purple files. Yeah, it's called a Bennett device. Thank you, Thomas. A poor mind probe on me would be so fruitless. But she tells him, give me the access code to your purple files, and he hands it over.
There's a famous line in the Five Doctors from Doctor Who. There's a Gallifreyan that they're going to use a mind probe on, and he yells out, "No, not the mind probe!"
Huh. The Centauri language looks a little Klingon.
A little bit.
And Texas saying, no, seriously, JMS did apparently write a Londo Jakar love scene. He used it as a prank, but he did write it, scripts and everything. I guess he was feeling bored one day.
Yeah, you're right, John. The band that she's wearing, it does look like something Ilea wore.
She apologizes, which, you know, that's a nice touch. If you're going to completely destroy the man, it's nice to apologize afterwards.
Especially while he's unconscious.
Yeah. The personal touch. But she has a very Victorian kind of dress. Something I'd expect to see in a Shakespearean type play.
I often compare the Centauri to Romans. The noble Roman Senate and that sort of thing.
Okay. I had only been thinking about, well, for the 90s, modern parallels. But yeah, kind of
Right.
a nation that ruled most of the galaxy, now is in decline. That really does fit the Romans.
Romans also used purple as a sign of nobility and power. And
it is great music, Omni.
they definitely got the right person for the music, that's for sure. Christopher Frank did the music for the series.
So her master contacts her, asking if she got the files, and of course she does. He says, "Great, I'll come over at once," and she says, "No." But she's not going to get out of it that easily. So she looks fondly at the coke ring plant. You know, cokes used to come in those, the 6 of them. You'd have the little plastic rings around the tops.
Yeah, you can still get them like that, I think.
It definitely looks like they cut those rings and drape them on top of some LED flowers. And so Londo is saying, Veer, I have an idea. Why don't you represent the Centauri Republic in the talks today? And Veer, I don't think this is a wise idea. I agree, Veer. He's saying, be proud, my boy. You are now the voice of the mighty Centauri Empire. Because he's got to go check on his girl. Very important.
I love that line.
Just don't give away the homeworld. You know, everything else is negotiable. Just don't give away the homeworld. Good advice.
Probably a few other things I wouldn't give away either, but you know.
And hey, there's a guy that was shoved through a table by the Narn lady earlier. Now he's putting on the moves on another person.
Yeah, he gets around. She has a change of heart, a change of mind. Boy, he's just not having a good time, is he?
He's not. But, you know, he kind of invited it both times.
He did.
I mean, he should have known better than trying to pick up a Narn. And then he got into that guy's face.
Very shocking, Omni. Very.
Shocking. So now will Raucus tell the truth? Oh, you know, yeah, it's trying to blackmail you. She has the information. I'm sure he's just going to be 100% honest with Londo at this point.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, I was wrong. He's saying that Adira is a Narn agent. Now, he kind of should be asking how. Oh, he is. Every time I start to say something, I find out the writers had it covered.
Londo's no dummy. And neither is JMS, who wrote most of these episodes. I wonder if he wrote this one.
So I was about to say, I'm surprised Londo isn't, you know, questioning what his involvement in all this is. And then he literally says, well, what's your involvement in all this? And he reveals that he is her owner. And that as her owner, he will be held responsible for anything she does. And so he's trying to stop her.
No, J. Michael Straczynski did not write this one.
And yeah, Texas, Tarkus is telling just enough of the truth to be convincing.
Londo's not happy.
Veer coming strutting in. And so Jakar is clearly upset by this. And I mean, he is calling out a slight for what it is. He's definitely being looked down on at this moment. I mean, to go from talking to the head ambassador to an intern. And so now Jakar's returning the slide. He's saying now Kodath, his intern, is going to be doing the negotiation. So two mighty empires are having their peace talks done by basically two interns. It's sad that I could see that happening in real life right now too.
And yes, Omni, JMS did supervise everything. So yeah, he was in control, even if he didn't write the episode.
So Londo is telling him just enough information to be helpful. Saying Indari has something that could destroy his entire empire, and he needs his help.
Adira.
Her too. Adira.
Adira.
My ability to keep names straight wasn't going to last forever. We all knew it.
And did you catch Jakar told Koloth not to give away the homeworld?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sinclair kind of looks like he's wearing a French police uniform. I'd say this part always seemed a little over the top to me. The over the top laughing just there. I mean, it's working.
Put on some different clothes, try to blend in a little bit so he wouldn't be recognized as the station commander. Act a little bit differently.
You would think he'd be recognized, though. If not him, then at very least Londo.
As much as Londo is there, you would think he would be recognized.
So out come the ladies for their alleged private party, and Londo says, "Now this is my department." And there's a silver lady in the back there. Oh, it's the guide again. The one who helped the Soul Hunter last week.
Yeah, the local, what would you call him? Underlord, if you will. He kind of has his hands and everything on the station that's underhanded or not quite legal.
But it's interesting. I mean, I haven't really gotten a good sense of scale for how big the Babylon 5 station is yet. But they're...
Well, we know it's 5 miles long.
Okay. Because they're setting it up like they have this deep lower layer, so to speak. That seems to be the criminal underbelly part of the city.
Yeah. Well, it's, you get people traveling to the station. They want to start a new life. They run out of money and they get stuck there.
Yeah, the Zindi gangster. Omni is saying that Nagrath is his name.
That's right, Nagrath.
So 5 miles long, and Mike is saying it's a 1 mile diameter.
That sounds about right.
So Mike's off to catch the weapon fire, but Ivanova makes a comment about keeping an eye out for his gremlin, and something about that gets him thinking. Gorilla is saying that each section is 1 mile long, and anything below level 22 is the ghetto.
Down below is what they call it.
It's interesting. Like, it's important to have that for the plot and environment of the story. I get that. But it's interesting. Like, you'd think logistically, a ghetto takes time to form up. And I guess I didn't think that Babylon 5 was that old yet.
It's been operating for over a year now.
And Mike says, "Okay, Lieutenant Gremlin, let's see what you're up to." And so we're talking to someone who's saying he's come out of the coma, but his condition is worse. You only have a few minutes at best. And so I'm assuming this is her dad.
Good guess.
And there we go. I know I haven't been the best of fathers to you. It's a quick info dump we're getting. The mom died, which we knew from last week.
Right.
And her brother died in the war, and he turned in on himself in grief. Thomas. No, that's clearly her mother. It's the beard.
That's kind of an indication. The woman we saw was a background character in Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Oh. Mike is saying they did actually show a quick shot of the entire station with color-coded sections in Soul Hunter. That's true.
They did.
So the dad says, "Thank you, Bushenka Maya," and she says it stands for little song or little soul. It was hard for.
I believe he said soul, or she said soul, rather.
But that was it.
And Josh Tree says this is why he thinks the B plot was better. It's very powerful. It's very brief, but you're right, Josh. It is a powerful part of the story.
So Sinclair is claiming that he wants to side up with Jakar in this moment. That he thinks that by siding with the Narns, the humans can get a piece of the Centauri's areas, territories that will benefit humanity. Now, one thing I'm less than clear on is why Ivanova felt the need to go through secret channels to do this. Like, I would have thought her contacting Earth would have been something totally legitimate for her to do. So the telepath has shown up, and of course he's not happy about this, but Jakar says, "Oh, it's perfectly normal to have a telepath president, these sort of things." She goes, "Yes, I'm just here to verify the legitimacy of the merchant's eyes, so it's imperative that you do not think of where you got this or where she is right now," which of course follows the old joke, have you ever tried not thinking of a pink elephant after someone tells you not to think of a pink elephant?
You just made me think of a pink elephant. Are you happy?
I am. I am. And
Jakar's not happy for being tricked and helping Londo.
Because it saved his career.
Yeah.
Gorilla's saying because light channels would have taken weeks to get through instead of the emergency channels. So the gold channel was an emergency one?
It's used by senior staff and the ambassadors, and it needs Sinclair's clearance for use.
Gorilla. Matthew, I just got the pink elephant out of my head from last week. But Mike is saying he thinks he got, and we may have had a slight disconnection there. OBS just said it lost connection, but it reconnected. So hopefully there's no issues in the stream. Yeah, everything looks fine now. Oh, she is a Dabo girl. I was just making a joke. But he says, you're going back to Dabo.
I think it's Darvo. I think it's Darvo, not Dabo.
Oh, Darvo.
And Thomas says, what a surprise, a technical error.
It took a little longer than I thought it would.
Texas says, Gold Channel has the highest priority, which it does. And yeah, Omnicast, I'm not sure about the weeks to get a communication through. Oh, it doesn't seem right to me. I'd have to look into it.
But Londo's able to get her freedom for her.
Yes.
And Londo's saying, you could stay. I mean, now that we've seen beneath our masks, we could have great times together. But she's saying, no. No, we couldn't. But at least we'll always have Paris. And he still gives her his matriarch's brooch. And says, wear it as a free woman. Iffy FSX is saying they use jump gates for near instant communication. So I was assuming that was just for travel.
I believe there is a communication element to the jump gates as well.
And Gorilla's Random Thoughts is saying it's still 250,000 people on there. The system can only handle so much. That makes sense. Well, that was For the Purple, and I got it pretty well this week.
Yeah, you did. I think you hit it right on the nail, the head of the nail. I mean, you came up with about 3 different things, and they were elements to all 3 in the story. So, well done, Matthew.
Born to the Purple, yeah. I did not expect to get that. I think that is the closest I've ever gotten to one of my predictions. Yeah, For the Purple. Yes, Thomas. I meant Born to the Purple. But hey, I was 75%? 80%. 80% of the name was there. So it was a fun episode.
That's pretty on par for you.
I kind of get the feeling that anything with Londo is going to be a bit of a fun episode. At the same time, we didn't see the ending for the peace talks with the 2 interns.
Well, as Londo is negotiating with Sinclair for his help, Sinclair gets him to agree to his compromise. You might have missed that in the dialogue.
I did.
So Londo agreed to Sinclair's compromise.
Okay. And Josh is saying there are comm buoys in hyperspace. Okay. And Tachyon is how they do FTL comms, Texas is saying. So, I mean, beyond it being a good episode, I liked how we got to see Londo being willing to go against his people's traditions. Like, I felt that was a really good character moment for him.
Well, he sees his republic, declining in power. He doesn't feel important on the station. He thinks it's kind of a joke. That's why he's late to these meetings all the time, and so he's finding purpose elsewhere, and he found it in Adira.
Beyond that, I mean, I guess we got to see a little bit of Mike, which his interaction with Ivanova this week was a lot like his interaction with Londo 2 weeks ago, where he told Londo, just turn around, in an hour I'm going to have to search your room. I better not find any weapons there. And so he's showing that while he's absolutely going to enforce station security, he's definitely going to take a soft glove approach to anyone who is willing to be dealt with a soft glove.
He'll bend the rules when it's appropriate.
Yeah. It's definitely something where I can see him being the sort of person who will have no qualms laying a person out or getting engaged in a firefight. But when he can, he's going to choose compassion and understanding over throwing the book at him the way Odo would have.
There's similarity there with Deep Space Nine. Shocking, isn't it?
Well, to be fair, it's more of like a contrast. Odo would definitely be like, no, here's the book. We're going by the letter of the law. And the moments where he would have that moment of compassion for Quark or something, like, well, fine, I'll turn a blind eye this time, but only because Sisko's making me. Those were...
Well, he softened over time, I thought.
Yeah. Who was it? From Casablanca, the police chief there, he kind of had the same relationship with Humphrey Bogart's character, kind of at the end, I feel like, as Odo and Quark did.
They were probably modeled on that.
I could see it.
Yeah.
So those were the kind of the two main things. Is there anything I'm leaving out from the episode? It's really...
Well, I think you get a little bit of Talia in this, and that she'll follow Psychor rules, but she'll skirt them when there's a life endangered. Because she didn't want to go along with trying to get the purple files back. I don't think she cared about that or helping Londo at all in that. But when she heard that there was somebody's life endangered, then she agreed to it.
Yeah. And yes, I'm glad to see I'm not the only one who has seen Casablanca. I wasn't sure how many people would get the reference. But Texas and Omnicast both got it.
Omnicast says he's shocked to find gambling going on in this establishment.
You're winning, sir.
And you also get a little bit with Ivanova in this story. She hasn't been really focused on very much in the series yet, but you're getting to see a little glimpse of her storyline. We know that her mother, she took her own life. Her father just passed away. She lost a sibling in the war. She's had a hard life, and you're kind of understanding where her hard-nosed attitude is coming from.
I think they didn't mention his sister, right? It was just your mom, your brother, and me. And then you went and joined the Earth Federation forces, I think is how they framed it for this episode.
I believe so. And Thomas says she's also Russian.
That's true. They know how to handle these things, as we learned last week.
Indeed.
Texas is saying there have been comparisons drawn between Casablanca and B5. Sooner or later, everyone comes to Babylon 5.
I also think you're getting a little bit of humor in this story. You're seeing humor with Veer, how he deals with Londo. You get a little bit of humor from Jakar, which you wouldn't think up to this point would be a humorous character.
Yeah. The fact that they brought this Aiden, it really set up a dynamic like, oh, you thought Jakar was the bad example from his race? Oh, no, Jakar is actually very lighthearted compared to this other person. Like Jakar, he does his schemings and his Machiavellian stuff, but he's actually an ambassador. Like he goes out of his way to at least put on this persona of friendliness and working with people, whereas the 8 is just, I'm going to throw this guy across the room into a table because other species are trash and garbage.
But no, I thought this was a good character episode. You learn a lot about a number of the characters in the story. So yeah, this was pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially for an early episode of the series.
And yes, I'm glad that the "you moon-faced assassin of joy" comment came up.
Now, part of that quote is, "What do you want?" Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. But I really loved when both of the ambassadors let their interns take over, and both of them just had the one. Just don't get rid of the
Don't give away the home world. Yes. Yeah, I think that was part of the humor in the story. Well played.
Also kind of highlighted that for their obvious and extreme differences, there's more about them that are similar than they're probably willing to admit.
I think you're onto something.
Josh wants to know, have you missed Dolphin Boy's take on next week's episode? You have not. Let me throw out my prediction. Next week.
So the episode is Infection, is the title.
I feel like this is a really low-hanging fruit with the name of Infection. I think it's going to be about an infection on the station. And see, I hate making that guess. I do. Because obviously the immediate thing that springs to mind, we're going to have a sickness on the station. This is going to be focused on the doctor and his work to identify how the infection got on the station, which I'm going to assume would be espionage, and then how to handle the infection. Do we quarantine people? How do we keep it crossing races? And how do we ultimately treat it before everyone dies? Like that is you got to name infection. That's what it's going to be about. But I'd also like to think there's more going on here. Like, I'd like to think it's supposed to be more maybe like a computer infection. Like, I don't think they would go there, but I'd want to think it wasn't just this is a really obvious thing that's going to happen from a name. Like, if I had an episode called, like, the one where Kirk dies, which would be combining Friends with Star Trek, it would be an episode where Kirk dies. It would be a very low-hanging fruit for that. But then you'd want it to be more than that. You want it to be, oh, we made you think this is what was going to happen, but it turns out someone got a hamster and named it Kirk, and it died. Something like that. So I want the name of the episode to be a misdirect. I want it to be something more than just there's an infection on the space station, we're having to deal with it. But at the same time, I do think the low-hanging fruit's probably going to be the right answer here.
Well, we'll have to find out in 1 week.
We will. And I did ask last time if you guys want me watching this live with you, or if you wanted to pre-watch it, and everyone said live, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to this completely blind, although I do try to make sure that I watch it again, just so that I can catch up on some of these fun behind the scene things that I missed out on. Or not behind
Thomas
the
says
scenes.
COVID 2258. Bring back the virtual pub.
Oh, that would be fun, Thomas, but no. Maybe one of these days. I was actually thinking today about how I have all these like videos that I've made on tutorials, and I got the Voyager videos that I try to work on every once in a while. But every time I start to work on one of these, I feel guilty that I'm not working on something else, and so I end up doing nothing. Because I feel like
that's very productive. Nothing.
Right? Like, I'm guilty. I feel guilty if I work on this video. I feel guilty if I work on this video. I'm like, well, I really should be doing this other thing, or maybe I should be doing that thing, and I end up doing nothing productive. But I need to get over that. I do.
Nomad.
Oh yeah, Nomad. Yeah. Yeah, there's that one. I'm surprised Michael hasn't killed me for that one.
He might yet.
I still have all the parts. If you guys don't know, years ago, the Salty Trekker, he did a 3D print in such detail. It was so, like, this thing is so well put together. Michael spent so much time creating this 3D print of a 1-to-1, for best we can tell, replica of Nomad from the TOS episode The Changeling. And my job was supposed to be simply create an electrical circuit that controlled the flashing lights and a little soundboard. And I had it all made up, and I just, like, I haven't bothered to do a test of the circuitry. And every time I start to, I find a much better way of doing things. I just need to go.
I know that feeling.
I just need to go and do this. I really do. But it's probably going to not ever be there.
That's what I do with programming. Now I'll program something on the computer and I finish and I go, oh, that's pretty good. And then I go, hey, I could have done this and it would have been much better.
Yeah.
I always do that.
Oh, Michael, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. One of these days.
Thomas says you should finish it and don't tell him, then mail it to him.
Oh, that would be so cool. Just for it to arrive on his doorstep. That'd be amazing.
Just hope the UPS delivery person doesn't kick it.
So he sent me his computer once, and I fixed it up for him. Had it all, tucked in nice and stuff. Mailed it back to him, and legit, they kicked it and broke the front bezel. I still can't believe they did that. The jerks.
Yeah, right?
Well, Jeff, not John, as I called you last week.
Should I put not John on my Discord name now?
Jeff, thanks for hanging out with me again and going through.
It's been fun, Matthew.
Episode. Yeah. And guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for chatting. I did try to read as much as I could as I went, even if I didn't read them. And we will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will. And be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified of all the updates I do on this channel. If you want to support the work I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, where you'll get early access to all kinds of videos. And until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.